everyone. I wanted to pop on and share with you what today, day 3 of a 5-day challenge being hosted by Tanya Dalton, owner of Inkwell Press Planners and the author of The Joy of Missing Out, a book that will be released 1 week from today, or a little less than a week from today. She is hosting a 5-day challenge. It is about finding joy, and we had 2 printable lessons that we get daily emails each morning speaking on what the topic is going to be about. Then we can click on various links. One link will take you to a little mini intro video that goes over what the topic of the subject of the day is, and if we have an attached assignment, so to speak, if it's a worksheet, and then you can click the link and print it out, and it's very easy breezy, don't take 10 minutes to do. And then if you tack in the time to fill out the form, it really depends on how much thinking you might need to do. But aside that, another maybe 5 to 10 minutes to complete the form. Today's the assignment for today was how to receive compliments, how to receive love, and not brush it off, not dismiss it, but actually internalize it and receive it for what it is. And I am someone that has been guilty of when someone gives me a compliment, I'll be like, I'm trying. And it's, or have some other rebuttal. That is not necessary. Just accept the compliment. And we went over today during the live stream, why is it difficult for a lot of women? I'm sure some men might have this thing they're dealing with as well. Why is it so difficult to accept a compliment? For me, I'm very good about giving them out and meaning it. You know, I'm not trying to get brownie points or nothing like that, but I do believe in giving people their credit or saying something very nice that is true that could possibly uplift their spirit. But when it comes to someone saying it to me, it is sometimes difficult to just accept it and take it in. And so we talked about that today, and I like how she brought up, and I take notes. I be paying attention, I take notes. And I wrote, a compliment given is normally sincere and true. Not all compliments are Rumpelstiltskin-like. Now, a stranger, a man or something, you just don't always know what their angle is. But in most normal settings, a compliment is sincere. It is genuine. And there's no strings attached. We should feel comfortable accepting the compliment without dismissing it. We need to allow ourselves to accept the compliment. Taking it in, and it will also help, by taking in that compliment, it will help fuse your mood and your attitude, and it can lift your spirit, add a positive light to your day, and you'll end up feeling better about yourself overall and your other wins that you have throughout the day. So I really like that when you actually accept the compliment, don't have nothing else further to say, don't downplay it, how it can just work within you. And I think that's really cool. We also talked about the standards in which we set for ourselves that can be very high. And with the bar being set so high, it can make us very critical. And so when a person do give a compliment, we may be measuring ourselves to a very unrealistic bar or measure or comparison to something. And I like that we talked about that today. And I wrote in my notes that we can set the bar too high and have a sense of worthlessness. And so when a person is giving that compliment, you don't feel worthy of it or deserving of it because you're comparing yourself to some other entity that you need to let go. I like that she talked about in the stream about she didn't use the word self-evaluation, but that's what I wrote, can be a very non-accurate projected viewpoint. Again, being very hard and critical and giving ourselves a tier or a standard to live by that is influenced by outside sources, and that doesn't help. And so sometimes compliments aren't received because you're measuring yourself to some ridiculous, high barred, half unattainable measure. I always kind of try to outline a quote or something. It's not necessarily a quote, but something she says that really stands out. And she said, "You are amazing and you do great things." And I really do like that. And she was like, "You deserve the compliment." And I wrote here, "We've morphed together points of view from outside sources and have allowed it to be the basis of how we define our self-worth and value." When you achieve something, it is good to receive the associated reward or compliment. And then I wrote a note of today. So I've gotten a round of applause today. My son had a room of people give me a round of applause about a new achievement that I made. And I wasn't expecting that. That just took me aback. And I thought that was so sweet of him to do. And that came after this lesson, so it was normally stuff like that makes me uncomfortable, but I was able to take it in and not feel the need to cringe, not feeling cringe or wanting to run, but actually sit there and be like, yeah. So that was really neat. And someone said that they don't, in the chat, that they wasn't good about taking compliments because the person only knows a snippet about their lives, and so it seems disingenuous a little bit to take the compliment because it's not a representation of their entire life. And I think we'd be presenting some little extra things for Miss Tanya to consider, but I think she's going to work. She has that type of mind to be able to work these other aspects out. And so she did say in response to that, it's okay if we don't have it all together or have all the answers or have everything figured out in our lives. Just because someone doesn't know your story through and through still doesn't mean you're not a good recipient of whatever that compliment was that was being given to you. Because guess what? It is being based on what they seeing at that time, or what they see in general from you. They don't need to know your life story or your struggle for you to be worthy of that particular compliment. That's my little tidbit. I like how she taught. Now, this is something I do when I'm out in stores or Costco's, TJ Maxx, whatever. I always look at the sales associate or the worker there, their tag. And when I ask for help or I'm talking to them about something, I do speak to them by their name. They're a person, you know what I mean? And it's about making them feel, not about making them feel, but you want to make a person not feel like, I've seen in retail settings how people can be very cruel, and they feel like because that's a servicing type of job that they have this right to mistreat that person, and I'm not going to be that guy. And so when I'm in the stores, I try to treat a person if I was on that opposite, I was on the opposite side and I was on that counter, how would I want someone to speak to me? And so she talked about, talking to people and using their names and looking on the tag. So I don't know how we worked that in, but that got worked into the talk today. I guess it's about spreading joy and just really being nice and kind to others. And I feel good being nice to people. To be honest, I don't like to be a butthead. So that's just my personality. And it, for someone else that it might not come easy, maybe it's something you could work on because it does help. It makes a difference. And then the next set of notes I wrote down is don't spend time brewing over someone's negative comment. A lady did mention that sometimes it's hard to take a compliment because she got those 80,000, I don't know why she used that number, but 80,000 negative, mean-spirited things that's been said to her running through her mind. Again, it's a reconditioning. It's reprogramming the way that you think and what you focused on. That would be my answer to that. But, Ms. Tanya was talking about, not stewing over a negative thing someone has said or done. And it makes me think of something Tony Robbins stated in a thing that I listened to a year or so ago. And he says he only allows himself to be angry about something 5 to 15 minutes, depending on what it is. And then he lets that go. You have the right to be upset about something if it's warranted. However, whatever it is you're upset about should not, depending on what it is, there are certain things, a person might be a little ticked off a little bit longer than that. But in most cases, work through that upsetness and let it go. Because, and this is my little tidbit, I wrote, don't spend time brooding over someone's negative comment. Then I wrote, Tony Robbins spoke on not being angry for more than 5 to 15 minutes. Go through the motion of the upset and let it go. Sometimes holding on to negative comments, this blocks your ability to see, hear, or receive the positive surrounding you or being spoken towards you. And then the last thing we covered, that's Roll being a nerd. And then the last thing I wrote down was acknowledge the compliment from the giver, because that means you truly value and appreciate their opinion. So that was today's lesson. We had a little form that we were to send out to our friends today, and our family member friend, and they were to fill it out and send it back to us. I sent out 3. I've gotten 1 back. But I knew one person wasn't going to be off of work until around this time, so I'll probably get it tomorrow, and then the other person's distracted. But I did ask in the chat, what if someone doesn't respond, today, we get it later in the week. And so she just said, well, then write down 5 of the nicest compliments that you've received from someone that has, is implanted in your memory. And so I wrote mine down. And writing it down, I started smiling. By the time I got down here, I was like, yeah, baby. So this was a good lesson. This was a nice little lesson. I just got one of them in about 30-something minutes ago. It's 9:23 p.m. So when I saw what the person checked off and wrote, and it asked at the last question is, what would you like to see for that person? They said something very, very sweet. So I got a round of applause. Oh, and the last thing I want to end this with is not even knowing, I hadn't opened up my email yet to see what the day's lesson was going to be about. And I had sent a fellow YouTuber a compliment. I've noticed something about them, and I just felt inclined to tell them this compliment. Not expecting anything in return or any type of brownie points or nothing like that. And they wrote back that I had brightened their day, and then came back and wrote something very nice about me. And it was just like a boomerang. It went out and it came back, and I wasn't even expecting anything, and I just thought that was really sweet. And then the lesson today was about accepting a compliment. So amen. Here, y'all. Know that you are, what she said? Let me go back to this. We're going to end it with that, because that was awesome. You are amazing. Yes, girl and boy, if you out there, and you do great things. Holla at a player. Have a blessed Wednesday. Peace.